Arts in Depth is brought to you in part by Riverside Theater, Vero's professional theater at Riverside Park. Call the box office at 772-231-6990 or visit riversidetheater.com.
Arts in Depth, a 1/2-hour televised program presented to you by the Cultural Council of Indian River County. I am Barbara Hoffman, the Executive Director of the Cultural Council and your host for Arts in Depth. Thank you for watching. Literature is an important and essential art. The art of reading and writing has from the beginning of time recorded the world's history, educated its populations, enhanced its creative thinking, and delighted people throughout all time. An important organization in Indian River County, the Laura Riding Jackson Foundation, promotes literary programs that nurture a passion for the written word. With me today is Charlotte Terry, a founder and vice chairman of the board of the foundation, and Marie Stiefel, the current president of the foundation. Welcome, Charlotte and Marie.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Laura Riding Jackson is a name well known in our county. Please share with our audience a bit about Laura Riding Jackson.
I guess that's me, huh?
I think that's you.
I first learned about Laura Riding in around 1990 or 1991 when I was looking around for a Florida Cracker House. And I was introduced to Renee Vandevoorty, who's an attorney in Sebastian. And I had been told that there was a famous author that had lived in this little house in Wabasso. And so I called Renee, and he took me to see the house, and I kind of fell in love with it. And he could tell that, so he said, by the way, we have a little foundation that we're trying to start to preserve the house. Would you be interested? And that was the beginning of my journey with Laura Riding Jackson. But she was a well-known poet back in the 20s and 30s and 40s. She renounced poetry, I believe, in the 40s, married a second time to she was originally from New York City, but she married a gentleman, Schuyler Jackson, who was the poetry editor for Time magazine, among other things. And they moved to Wabasso, Florida, bought this little existing Florida Cracker House that we think was built in the late 1800s, early 1900s, and sort of lived quietly and peacefully the rest of their lives in that little community and raised citrus to make a living, but then they wrote, and they spent the rest of their lives writing this book on the dictionary, a new dictionary of words, according to them.
And they actually they raised organic citrus.
They raised organic citrus, and she was one of the first members of the Audubon Society. They were preservationists and conservationists from the very beginning, and organic. And she stayed in that house until her death, which was, I believe, 1990, and she was 91 years old. So she had a great sort of community feeling with those little areas, but they never did much outside of that little realm of their life.
And they lived very, very simply. They had no electricity until the last year of her life, when her nurses insisted. She used kerosene to write all her books and do her typing. They used propane for their stove and the refrigerator. So it was a very simple life.
So, and we have preserved the house. That is another part of our mission, is to preserve this home and have it open. We have it open every Saturday morning during the season from 9 to 12 with docent and tours. And it is the Florida Cracker House on the Environmental Learning Center campus.
Yeah. Right. And you've done a lot to the preservation. You've done a lot to preserve that house. It's beautiful. It's in beautiful shape now.
Thank you.
And what is wonderful is to sit on that porch on a lovely day and feel the breeze and understand why it's called a Cracker House.
Right.
We're going to return after a short break.
For more than 30 years, Bay Street Pharmacy has been your neighborhood pharmacy and one-stop healthcare center, offering prompt personal service, home delivery, and a dedicated staff that treats our customers like family with care and compassion. Bay Street Pharmacy, where caring people care for you.
Attention! This is an important message for anyone who had an IVC filter placed to prevent blood clots from traveling to their heart or lungs. Did your IVC filter move, break, or cause organ damage? The FDA warns that IVC filters may cause serious complications, such as heart or lung damage, internal bleeding, or even death. Call Jacoby and Myers today. You may be entitled to compensation. You won't pay a thing unless your case is settled.
Please call 800-378-0160.
I'm back with Charlotte Terry and Marie Stiefel of the Laura Riding Jackson Foundation. The Laura Riding Jackson Foundation was founded to preserve and to interpret her home and to promote her literary programs. The foundation, with the help of generous partners and sponsors, annual writing workshops, as well as literary, historical programs and events. Tell us about all the things that you do.
Well, we were very fortunate to have a grant from Quail Valley Charities to support some of our work. So we're one of the charities supported by them. The Environmental Learning Center is our landlord and our very generous partner, as well as other many partners in the community, the Vera Butch Book Center among them.
Natalie's Juice. We provide
right?
juice for our teen writers and our different events.
Right, exactly. So we do several different ongoing events, such as the Porch Writers, which is a group of women who come on the second Saturday morning of the month to come together.
I think they've had men occasionally, but it does seem to be more women. But men are invited.
Yeah, that's right. And,
anybody can go.
That's right. We have done open mic. We do an ongoing teen writers workshops, a series of about 6 workshops, which I think we'll talk about later in depth. And we do an annual poetry and barbecue at the end Poetry Month to celebrate Poetry Month. And this year it's April 10th. So those are some of our events. And we do bring authors and do author events as well, and workshops for adults.
And who are some of the people that you have brought in to do these events?
Well, going way back, we've had Patrick Smith. Before he became really famous, he did a teen writers workshop for us and also spoke several times at fundraisers. We've had Rick Bragg in to do things, and Barbara remembers well. We had 3 Vera Beach Book Festivals back in the late 2005, 5, 6, and 7, I think. And brought in 30 to 50 authors, many well-known and some not as well-known, but we had a wide variety. But for our teen writers, we just recently did a program with Leslie McGurk, and she does one on creativity. And the name of the workshop, this is for 9th through 10th graders, was called 9th through 12th graders, thank you, was called How to Write Without Writing. And so, and that was a wonderful, really interesting and well attended, and the kids loved it workshop. So we have coming up another one, an author from a teacher from what university?
University of South Florida.
University of South Florida. And remind me his name.
Jared Rossello.
Thank you.
He's a professor at the University of South Florida, and he does what are called graphic novels, which they look like comics, but they're a little bit more involved and more extended than that. And we are really excited. He will do a workshop for adults and one for children and one for teens.
So you can sign up for that.
Right.
Adults or teens, that's February 27th, Saturday morning for the adults and afternoon for the teens.
Right.
And the writing workshops, the objective of those is to, particularly with teenagers,
just to give them, they don't have much writing skills or programs in any of the schools anymore. So it's an opportunity for them to learn how to do certain skills. We always do an essay writing in August or September for those kids that are going off to college or just practicing essay writing. It's very important for college in general. We always do a poetry. So we bring in, this year we have one of the poets that's presenting is going to be doing the workshop for the teens the week before.
Okay, well, let's go on and continue this after we take a short break.
Sure.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Carolyn.
And I'm Jim. Together we are the Live Now real estate team at RE/MAX Associated Realty.
We know the Sebastian area real estate market very well, and we also know that buying or selling a home can be very serious business.
But together we can reduce the stress and even have fun in the process. Along with our hundreds of satisfied clients, we really want you to live now and be happy too.
Contact us at thelivenowteam.com.
See you soon.
Stop by Patty's Printing and Graphics in downtown Vero Beach. Owner Patty Callahan prints it all, from color and black and white copies to blueprints, banners, signs, prints of paintings, and fine art. Patty makes restorations and creates outstanding graphic designs. Call Patty at 770-1521 or stop by Patty's Printing and Graphics at 2345 14th Avenue. Stop by for all of your printing needs at Patty's Printing and Graphics across from the old railroad station in downtown Vero Beach.
And we're back with Charlotte Terry and Marie Stiefel, and we're going to talk more about the Laura Riding Jackson Foundation. It's quite well known, obviously, for its Teen Writers Workshop, as we've talked about already, but tell us exactly about the workshops, its instructors, and how one can participate in it. And there must be some standout teen writer participants as well we'd like to hear about.
Well, I'll tell you a little bit about the program. It was started about 15 years ago, so we've been doing this for a long time, and our goal is to have 5 workshops a year. It is free to the students. As we said before, we get underwriting from Quail Valley and from other generous donors, Joanne Mitchell. They generally are 1 to 4 in the afternoon, and we provide pencil, paper. If there's a book that's pertinent to what's being presented, we try to give that to them. We've done nature journaling, where we provide them with a nature journal. And we had Susan Lovelace, who started a nature program in the IB students, and Sebastian has come and presented along with Sean Sexton, who's been he's a local rancher, poet, and an artist, and he has been keeping journals for 30 or 40 years. So we do all kinds of things. This year we added a program. We got a grant to do a program for 8 to 10-year-olds, and we collaborated with the Environmental Learning Center and brought in Donna Gephardt, who's a young adult writer, and she did 2 workshops for the different age groups, and they're for their volunteer groups called their ambassadors, the ELC ambassadors. They're 2 different levels, and she did nature workshops with them. So we kind of morph and adapt to whatever we think is pertinent at the time.
I think the Teen Writers always has 2 consistent workshops. Of the 5, 2 of them are the same. One of them is a group from England called the Cambridge American Stage Tour, which is founded by Dame Judi Dench to give the students at Cambridge experience in doing theater and performing. And so we brought over 19 students from Cambridge, and they were here for 5 days, and they did an acting workshop for the teens, and then a writing workshop for the teens, and then 2 performances for the general community. That happens every September. And then we do the college essay, application essay, and then we just sort of fill in where the teachers tell us they need help. They don't
the
do,
students
or the
request.
students,
We do a little
we do a survey
wrap-up survey
at the end of every workshop.
And they give us suggestions. The graphic novel was one of them, so that's what we're doing.
And we're
going
to do spoken word poetry for them this year.
Yeah, actually, that's right. I'm sorry. It was Sabrina Carpenter, who's a local, fabulous performing poet, is going to come do that, which is going to be fantastic.
And the thing that's so interesting for me about this is that the kids get excited about writing, which is what you really want. You want them to be able to play with words and to have fun with it and be excited about putting words together.
Well, you know, what's happened with music and rap, which is now into all sections of our lives, adult and
Even
young
Broadway.
and everything, and Broadway. I mean, it's become really popular, and rap is nothing more than it's poetry set to music, and so that's partially what Sabrina's going to be doing too, because it really has a rhythm and motion. So you know, we're trying to kind of keep up with what's happening in the real world too.
Well, it's very interesting what's happening in the real world based on diversity. It's changing art in many, many, many forms, and I think it's really interesting that you're adapting to that and promoting that in the Laura Riding Jackson Foundation.
The overall goal really is that we want the students to come through our school system literate and be able to express themselves.
Absolutely. Let's talk about, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
We're going to have to take a short break right now. We'll come back and we're going to finish this conversation.
Arts in Depth is brought to you in part by Riverside Theater, Vero's professional theater at Riverside Park. Call the box office at 772-231-6990 or visit riversidetheater.com.
When we ended the last segment, we were getting really into some wonderful stories and memories of some of the teenage participants. And I'm going to ask Marie to continue what you were talking about and share with us a success story or a memorable story about some of the participants.
Well, that is really the reason we do this, is because we want students to come out happy and delighted that they mastered something. And one of them was we were doing a poetry workshop in which the students were to learn to write a sonnet, a Shakespearean sonnet, which was a pretty challenging thing. And coming out was this one boy. They were all smiling, but this one boy was just delighted, and he said, "I didn't think I could read a sonnet, but write a sonnet." But they told us that iambic pentameter mimics your heart rate, and and this is what he did: da dum da dum da dum da dum da dum da dum da dum, and I wrote a sonnet. He was so happy with himself, and it was a moment of mastery for him that just will stay with him. And he's gone on, and now he's at Stetson, and he's doing really, really well. And there was another little girl who did not speak. It came to the U.S. when she was 8, did not speak English at all, and is now an IB student, and really never had the opportunity to draw, but she just as a hobby drew. And when she was in the nature journaling workshop, she found the way to combine the writing and the drawing.
Wonderful.
And she was just found a new outlet for herself. It was wonderful.
One of the things we do with the Teen Writing Fellows, if they attend 3 of our workshops and present some piece of writing that we all review, they can become a Teen Writing Fellow, and we give them a certificate, and that's something that they can take with them when they're on their college applications.
Right, and we've sort of looked at that, and legitimately they can put that under honors on their college application. Mm-hmm. So when they become a Teen Writer Fellow, they can put that under honors.
And that cast, the cast group from England is these 19 or 20 kids that come over. They're all 18 and 19 and 20, and they are adorable. They engage with the kids. We had a workshop last year or the year before, 120 kids in an acting workshop. That was the most fun thing to just watch it, because they take them off in groups of 20 kids or whatever, and they just are doing all kinds of really fun things. I've never seen, one of the teachers said she saw a young man, she said, "I have never seen that child smile in 3 years he's been here." And he was actually laughing and jumping, and she said, so we have some fun things. And the performances that they give, we do it at St. Edward's, one at St. Edward's and one at Sebastian Highland School, or Sebastian High School. And they're free to the public, It's a wonderful thing for our community to have Shakespeare, a week of Shakespeare.
The students from England are just enough older than our students to be good role models for them, and they can speak their language, and so they relate very, very well. It's fun to watch.
Partnerships are important to the work of the foundation in order for you to be able to bring this to our community and the children of our community in particular. Share with us for just for the next minute your partners and how important fundraising is.
Well, our original partner really has been the Environmental Learning Center, because they let us use their facilities for our workshops, which has been wonderful. We've tried to do workshops that integrate into the nature thing with them. Quail Valley Charities has been a huge partner with us, support with us, and we've just recently partnered with the Vero Beach Theater Guild. We are going to be producing a musical that was written by one of our local residents, Susan Phillips.
We're going to want to hear more about this.
That's all another project.
Yes, we have to take a short break, but we're going to come back and hear about this one.
The fun is happening at Vero Social Club on North US 1, where friends meet for bingo every Tuesday and Thursday. Doors open at 10, with luncheon served, and the games begin at noon. Then Vero Social Club opens up the dance floor Thursday nights for social dancing. And weekends, Vero Social Club Eats Up. Check the website for Latin Night special events. And each Sunday, dance to hip-hop all night long. Go to VeroSocialClub.com. Vero's #1 party destination. Vero Social Club, 7500 North US 1.
Stiefel.
The Furniture Man is a locally owned business that has served the needs of the community of Vero Beach and Indian River County for over 30 years. Here at the Furniture Man, we offer fine pieces to furnish each and every room of your home. Specializing in Floridian style, come browse our selection of bedroom, dining room, patio, and living room. Come explore over 10,000 square feet of showroom where you can find mattresses, recliners, sofas, dining, and more. Visit us at 673 US 1 in Vero Beach, Monday through Saturday for all of your furniture needs.
I am returning again with Charlotte and Marie. And Charlotte, you were in the middle of telling us about a partnership you have with the Vero Beach Theater Guild, and I want to hear more about that.
Yeah, this is really exciting. We actually have sort of a little fundraising event tonight. Susan Phillips, who is a long-term resident, actually her family built one of the first homes over in Old Remar on the ocean front called Villa Festiva. And the new owners are allowing us to come do a fundraiser there for this musical that she has written using music that her mother wrote. Many of the songs were written actually right here in Vero in that house. It's a 1920s setting, and we have it's got a lot of history about Vero and specifically Remar, but about the town of Vero and just that whole era. And the music was all written by her mother, who is of course long since deceased, but one of her most famous songs was probably made famous by Fats Waller, called Imagine My Surprise, and that's one of his signature songs. Really? So she was very talented, very gifted, and Susan was a Broadway singer and actress as well. So she has a great musical background, and
a great voice.
And a great voice, yeah. And her daughter, by the way, starred in Aspects of Love in London for 6 years. The daughter has a beautiful voice. So anyway, very musical family. And so she has rewritten some of the lyrics to go with the plot. But we hope that it'll be something successful and that we're partnering with the Vero Beach Theater Guild, and we hope that it'll be something we can play every year for new residents and old residents and just learning a little bit about the history of the community.
I think it sounds
so it's dancing,
wonderful.
Music, and writing. We've got it all going.
All right. Tell us about a couple of your other partners and sponsors.
Vero Beach
Book Center. Beach Book Center has been a wonderful sponsor and support for us, and often we've been able to, when an author comes to the Vero Beach Book Center, we've been able to then also have them for Laura Writing Jackson. We did a tea party when they brought the person who wrote the Golden Books, Everything You Know About Christmas. I learned from a little Golden Book.
She's the editor, and she did a compilation book with all these different, original things that she pulled from all of the Golden Books. What did they say? They've got 4,000 of them or something?
Something like that.
Incredible. And so she came and did a little talk for us in this tea party situation just pre-Christmas.
Right.
Everything you always wanted to know about Christmas, you learned from a little Golden Book. So that was sort of a fun one-off thing.
So being able to, sort of piggyback on what the other organizations are doing and collaborating with other organizations is something we like to do because it's just an advantage for everyone.
And they're one of our partners too with the poetry. They and any kind of event that we have, they usually supply the books, and they have somebody there selling the books for us. So that's a wonderful partnership. Makes it a lot easier for us.
Sounds like you've got a lot on your plate, and then you can.
It goes in many directions.
It does, and I don't know that we're going to have time to get into the what you're doing with the home, the improvements on Laura Writing Jackson's home, but we'll get back to that. Touch that in the last segment. Okay. We'll be back after a short break.
Have you or a loved one been prescribed the blood thinner medication Xarelto? Xarelto has been linked to serious injuries, including internal bleeding of the brain or gastrointestinal system, cerebral hemorrhage, and even death. At the law offices of Jacoby & Myers, we've been bringing compassion and experience to our clients for over 40 years. Jacoby & Myers is now taking claims from those injured as a result of taking Xarelto. You won't pay a thing unless your case is settled.
Please call 800-536-6093.
Charlotte and Marie, we've talked so much about the programs of the Laura Writing Jackson Foundation, but another big responsibility and part of your mission is taking care of the Laura Writing Jackson house. Do you want to tell us a bit about that?
Well, we moved it originally from the original site in 1995, I think, and we had a take it apart and bring it over and put it back up. So it's not in the original site, but we've tried to recreate the trees and everything to the best of our ability.
And the pole barn.
And the pole barn,
they also did the pole barn.
But we brought back. The only thing that didn't make it was the outhouse, and we're hoping to restore that at some point because I know that's an important feature. But anyway, so we've done several renovations. We had damage after the 2004 hurricanes, and we got a grant from FEMA, which really helped us replace roofs and everything. And then Marie has really kind of been in charge recently of trying to preserve and maintain and restore things. And we have a project underway. We're trying to raise $50,000 for that. So just to keep it.
Well, you know, it's an old house. It was built in 1890, so you know the years take its toll, and so it just really does need some work, and it's not insulated or any of that. So, and it's made of Dade County pine or local pine, which is heart pine, which now at this point only exists in the reclaimed state. So you have to go. I think it will have to come from Louisiana
to
or
find
something.
it,
We have to search and find it, which is all wonderful because, you know, it gives the kids that come through it a sense of place. This is the way Dade County was to the pioneers who came to Dade County and opened it up. And I think that's an important little piece of data for them, an important bit of information. So we're happy to do that.
At one point, the ELC did a Florida. The fourth graders, everybody in the fourth grade learns about Florida history, and we had all the fourth graders coming through that house, so it was an amazing adventure for them. This is only one of 2 historic houses in our county that are open to the public, the other being the Hallstrom house, but and they're totally different houses, types of houses.
Very much so.
Yeah, this is a very, you know,
very rustic, very simple.
House, very simple house.
So I think it is exciting for even people our age to come in because you don't see things like that much anymore.
And the most amazing thing is when people walk into the house, they sort of take a deep breath. It just sort of has a settling, harmonic kind of feel. People love it as soon as they come in. And often writers have said, you know, can I come to a residency here?
We would actually love to get at the point where we could have a residency, have somebody living there and writing. We've had a couple of people that have called us up and have said, we just wanted you to know that we were at the house and there was no one there, it wasn't open, but we heard something like dishes being washed in the back room, so we run around the back, knocked on the door, nobody came, went around the back and looked in the windows there and didn't see anybody, but we came back again and we heard the same thing. We've had 2 groups of people that have called us and said that they've had these sort of little experiences in there. I haven't had any of those, but...
That's great. Marie, you have a passion for educating children around the world. Do you want to tell us just for a moment about that passion?
Well, yes. I mean, I love talking about educating because I really think that's the bridge to making our civilization move forward. And one of the I support 2 schools. One of them is in Tanzania and one is in Kabul. The school in Tanzania is for girls who are vulnerable because they don't have education beyond age 12, and so they went around and collected the girls from the villages. And the one in Kabul is to preserve the arts and architecture of the Afghanis because after 30 years of war, nobody knew how to do calligraphy or woodworking or any of that. In order to give them their culture back, the school teaches them. Those are traditional arts.
Well, our community is so grateful to have both of you working so hard with the Laura Riding Jackson Foundation and bringing this your wonderful passions, both of you, to our community. So I want to thank you, Charlotte Terry, the founder and vice chairman of the Laura Riding Jackson Foundation, and Marie Stiefel, who is the president. And I want you to thank you for talking with us today. And I want to thank you, viewers, for watching Arts in Depth, presented by the Cultural Council of Indian River County.
Arts in Depth is brought to you in part by Riverside Theater, Vero's professional theater at Riverside Park. Call the box office at 772-231-6990 or visit riversidetheater.com.